Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Happy Friday the 13th. Hope everybody is ready for the weekend. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Excited to talk ball as always on our Friday afternoon show. So as you come in to the chat, you know what to do. It's free to show love. Hit that like button. Help a brother out. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by August 30th. Texas versus Ohio State. I need your help. We're adding subscribers. We're adding followers. We're adding what we need to be adding, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need your help. So please join the effort. Subscribe, hit that like button, the whole bit. It is free to show love. It helps us grow this platform. Very, very grateful for everybody that always tunes in, always helps us out, always shows love. And yeah, just really appreciative of that. So today, I want to talk contenders. Last year, when when we were doing the SEC Connect regularly, right, with Nino and Jay and Ty and Chris, we had these different topics throughout the year, leading into Texas's first year in the SEC, Oklahoma's first year in the SEC, 16-team conference now. Who were the real contenders? And when we say legitimate contenders, right? Real legitimate contenders, that means you like really have a chance to win the SEC. I'm not talking about dark horses or things like that. I'll bring up a screen here in a second to show, odds, Vegas odds, things of that sort. Probably not going to get too much into over unders on wins today. I'm more so looking for what group of teams legitimately have a shot at winning this conference in the SEC. And the reason why I want to focus on this, what's up, everybody? What's up, D Money? Can't get money. Alan, Colby, AJ, the usual suspects. Appreciate y'all coming in here. AJ said it's only us at the top. Oh, I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. Texas, next question. But we know, hey, if you're in the championship game, you're obviously a contender, right? Like, so who else is in there? It can't just be one team, right? So, but to win this thing, last year. Well, actually, let me start why I want to do this right now. I think we've talked so much about our singular focus off of the last two seasons of where we've gotten to in the postseason, reaching the college football semifinals, back-to-back seasons. Our focus is obviously on a national championship, and we're so natty focused, which we should be, okay? I don't want to be dismissive of that. That's obviously what we're chasing after the success we've had with the reloading, with the continuity of the coaches. I saw something today posted. I think it was Blake Monroe posted on Twitter. Texas is the only Power Four team of the last 5 years that has the same head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and and strength and conditioning coach. All of those elements together. There's nobody else that has all of those pieces over the last 5 years. It's literally Texas in the Power Four. So our expectations, in my opinion, are warranted, right? But I'm gonna get to Quentin. Quentin here with the donations. What's up, brother? How we doing? Good to see you here. Donations. Donations. We're gonna get that school built one day. But in all seriousness, it pisses me off that we did not win the SEC last year. Full stop. That matters. I want to win the conference. I'm tired, and I'm tired of. Honestly, I thought the schedule narrative stuff had gone away after the playoffs, because I haven't even talked about that, right? Like, I've argued with people about Texas's schedule, blah, 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 where you want to go with that, sure. But we also took out the people that won the ACC. We also took out the people that won the Big 12. Like, I thought that put that to bed, but clearly the only thing that will truly shut people, it won't shut people up. Let me start there. It won't. But at least it will add another feather in the cap, and just to really, give a what to the haters, is winning the SEC. Like winning this conference. Us getting to the SEC championship game, people act like we weren't close. People act like we weren't, supposed to win that game, quite frankly, as if we didn't go 7-1 in the regular season. So I'm really at the measure of, and also talking to people after the season that are in this conference that said, we did not want Texas to come in here and win the conference first year, full stop. That the people in this conference, multiple fans from different SEC teams admitted to me after the season, they didn't want to see us win. Period. Period. It would have been embarrassing for them. I won't say whose names they were, but I look, right hand up. They admitted that. So that type of energy is like, yo, we got to go in here and leave no doubt. We got to go in here. Yes, I want to win a natty. Yes, I want to, make it feel like 2005, 2006 with Vince Young, all that. But like, it's we want to. That's to me, that's like the goal. Right, be below winning a national championship is winning the SEC. That's where I'm at this point. I'd love to, and that's the motivation for me to say, hey, if that's our goal, right? Who are the people that are in the way, whether they're on our schedule or not? Because even if you're not on our schedule, who could I expect to see on the other side of that field in Atlanta, right? Will it be Georgia again? Will it be Alabama? Right? Will it be somebody that is on our schedule that we would have played, like a Florida or a Texas A&M? Like who are the legitimate, like, I would put money down that I wouldn't feel like I'm just losing money or throwing money away if I bet on this team to at least make the SEC title game. Right? And to me, in my opinion, and last year I said 4 teams, and I was dead wrong on LSU. I was way off on LSU, but I did not have Ole Miss in that mix. I did not have. I think I did have. No, I did not have Ole Miss in that mix. I feel like I was justified in putting Tennessee in there because they made the playoffs. So LSU was the only one I was off on because I had Georgia, Texas, in that group. So I think that was 4 teams. So this year I'm still staying with 4. I'm cutting it off at 4, and it's really the top folks in terms of the odds, which is Texas, Georgia, Bama, LSU. I'm cutting it off at LSU. I do not see anybody outside of that group winning the SEC this year. I have a couple teams that could be quote unquote dark horses if things break their way. But in terms of legitimate, like no doubt about it, they're gonna be in the mix. These are no doubt about it. Even if they don't make it there, they're gonna make the playoffs. Those 4 for sure for me. And we can talk about their rosters and all that, but anyway, Quentin, again, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for donating. Means a lot to me. Really, really does. Let me jump into the comments here because I gave you guys my 4, and I'm gonna see here. So Wheels and Levers has 3 teams. He has Texas, Georgia, Bama. You do not have. Looks like you do not have LSU in there. So let me go ahead and share just so y'all can see some odds. As we do. Give me 1 second. Oh. I think I got this set up properly. Okay. So Wheels and Levers, you have Texas, Georgia, Bama. As you guys can see on the screen there, that's pretty much, I don't think I have all 16 teams up, but, if I don't think anybody's putting money on Mississippi State, right? plus 50,000. So I don't know if they need to be necessarily be on the screen right now. No disrespect to them in Kentucky, but you know they may make some bowls, they may win 6-7 games, but um, respectfully, I don't think you guys need to be up on the screen. Respectfully, Stephen Houston said legit contenders are Texas, Georgia, with Bama as a distant third. Um, I disagree with Bama being a distant third. I think Bama's right there with Georgia this year. They both have questions at quarterback. I mean, you could argue Gunner Stockton's proven a little bit more since he started the bowl game, and obviously played the second half of the SEC championship game. But Ty Simpson's been there for a while. Ryan Grubb being back, they do expect a production uptick, right? Especially now that Milrow's not spamming all the carries for the run game. That brother had 20 rushing touchdowns last year. Now the running backs will be able to do their job again. It should look more like a Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb offense. Supposed to. Bama might have the best overall. They might be with right neck and neck with us defensively. I love what Bama has defensively at all three levels. Now I think we have more star power on our defense, but Bama's defense is going to be, to me, I think they're going to be outstanding this season. And Georgia, I do still have questions about. I think Georgia's run game should be better with my man Nate Frazier. I expect him to take a leap from his freshman year to his sophomore year. I think he is going to be the main guy. I think Georgia's always going to have a stable Bags, Cash, and all them other dudes, but I think it's going to be Frazier's backfield, and I think they're going to try to get back to the run elements. But I don't know. I'm higher on Bama than you are, Stephen Houston, personally. LSU, I think LSU is going to take another step defensively, and then Nussmeier as his second year as a starter. They just have a lot of talent. LSU has a lot of talent. I like LSU. But Stephen Houston, you're right. I don't like Brian Kelly, especially with how they just been the tendency to drop games in September early in the season. And I know it's not an SEC game against Clemson, but like things that just knock you off course, right? So those are the questions I have at LSU. They do have a tough schedule, but I like them. I think LSU is very, very talented this year. They got my boy Caden Durham at running back. I think they're going to have the best run game they've had in a while. Traditional run game, not spamming the quarterback run game, but actual run game. The question is how they rebound with the offensive line, right? When Emory Jones going to the league, obviously the fourth pick in the draft, and Will Campbell going to the league. People talk about Texas replacing our offensive line. LSU got to replace hella starters over there. And Nuss was really good behind that line last year, but like, how's he going to look with these new guys in there? And can they run the football? Those are questions I have. I will never question LSU in terms of wide receivers. Not after what they've done over the last few years. And they have talent, at tight end as well. But I'm cutting it off right there. No disrespect to Ole Miss. I'm not buying Austin Simmons walking in and winning the conference. Y'all can clip this if I'm dead wrong. But they didn't do it with Jackson Dart and them. And I knew they weren't going to do it. And look, Ole Miss, because they play such a light, you want to talk about schedules, they play nobody in non-con. They're going to look good. They're going to be 4-0. It's going to be loud because they don't play anybody. And then, boom, here comes the real stuff. And I just don't like how they set themselves up for conference play. That's why they got smacked in the mouth by Kentucky last year. I really think that's why they got smacked in the mouth by Kentucky last year, because they played nobody for a whole month and were running up the score on people, and then the Kentucky game happens. And it's like, oh, this is the level of physicality we got to be competing at, right? So if I'm a fighter, those aren't the type of tune-up fights I want to have. If and especially with a young quarterback like I think Simmons is going to be good, but a young guy like that, I have my questions with how they and ultimately I'm a see it to believe it with Lane Kiffin. I got to see it to believe it with Lane Kiffin, personally. Yep, kicking. That's why we have a new kicker here, and that's it's plain and simple. And I will say, special teams is why we lost, why we didn't win the SEC, or else we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. AJ said the SEC. Hey man, I'm told this the conference is supposed to be a juggernaut. AJ, respect Jeffrey. No, you guys, y'all are going to be in the mix as always. As long as Kirby Smart is breathing and able to motivate his kids, Georgia will always be in the mix. Respect. Y'all beat us twice last year. I ain't got nothing to say. I'll tell y'all. I've never been the one running my mouth against Georgia after losing twice. Like that has not been my energy. I do think we played way better in the second game. We should have won, but y'all won the SEC outright. Lost your quarterback in that game. Won. I ain't got nothing to say. JB said, "Well, we know it ain't OU." Look, it's not us hate. It's not even just us hating, bro. OU is plus 3,500. This is Vegas talking. This is Vegas talking. That's why I said, how objective are you? Be whether regardless of who you like. Okay, I tried to explain this to Chris last year when he and his list on SEC Connect had OU as a contender and he didn't have Texas. That's how I know you're a natural born hater. You're not based in reality. That's Facebook talk. Okay, this isn't Facebook. People over there people on Facebook, that's like you go to Facebook, that's as good as going into Jumanji. It's not real life. Okay. That's how Chris and them operate. But I told Chris, regardless of your feelings, Texas is a contender. Regardless of your feelings. And regardless of your feelings, OU is not a contender. Now, I do think OU will be better. They damn well should be better than they were last year being 6-7. I do believe OU will be better. I do believe OU should have, you know, they could be in between what, 8-9 wins. I think that schedule's real tough, especially where some of the places they got to go. But they can, you know, I think that would be a good season for them. I think that would justify them being able to keep BV. But I don't see them. I don't see that roster is not built to win the SEC, in my opinion, unless John Mateer is just as good, if not better than Cam Ward. He would have to be that good. He'd have to be that good, stay healthy. And I know they keep talking about their defense is supposedly going to be better than it was last year. And I think that their defensive line, I think is going to be awesome. I think they have an awesome defensive line. I will give OU that. Again, I try to be objective here. R. Mason Thomas, the D tackles, they had to pay up to keep them brothers to stay. You know, some brothers were trying to hit the portal. They had to pay up. They did. They got them to stay. But the way that they were gassing up Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman last year, and them dudes are in the NFL now, and you're just acting like, you know, oh, we're just, you know, Peyton Bowen's going to stay. Yeah, Peyton Bowen's good. Kip Lewis, yeah, Kip 6. I'm with it. I'm hip. But I don't know. It's the classic fan talk out of both sides of their mouth, where it's like, you know, who are, you know, who is replacing those guys? So I don't see it. I don't. If you think I'm a hater, okay, go ahead. But I said it last year and they went 6-7. Does that make me a hater? Florida. So this is where I'm at with Florida. Why I'm not even going to say a dark horse. I just think that Florida's schedule is still the hardest, and I don't trust Lagway's health. That's the holdup for me with Florida. I think Florida has the talent to win the SEC. I do believe that. I don't think that their schedule or their health, and I don't know if the depth is all the way that. To me, Texas, Georgia, Bama, and LSU, I don't know. They have the depth there. The depth there. So we'll see. LSU, we don't believe you. You need more people. More people. Auburn had a talented team that just can't do anything. Auburn would be my dark horse out of all this. Auburn Auburn has talent. They have talent. They just play like idiots. Literally. Like, if I go back and look at their schedule last year, they could have almost won every game. If I'm sure there's one game where they probably got blown out or whatever, but like for the most part, they could have won every game. It seems like Auburn to me is the dark horse in this. For me, that team is not bad, and they added Singleton. They added a couple other people in the portal too. Now they did lose Jarquez Hunter at running back. I know that they're still excited for their room and all that. Obviously, the question is what what do they get out of the resurrection project that is Jackson Arnold? That's where I can't get there with Auburn. It's still the quarterback situation. Even if Jackson Arnold's better, I don't see him being all the way better to where they're now able to win the conference type stuff. That's just me. Lagway is that good, and the team around him is good. Like Florida's run game is going to be dumb. Florida's going to be able to run the football on mostly everybody. That including our game. They have my attention when we go to Gainesville for our SEC opener. Florida will be able to run the football with Ball. That offensive line, they can move. They ran the ball on us last year, by the way. We just we beat the crap out of them, but they were running the ball, even with the third string guy in there. Florida can run the football. That is a concern. And you have a quarterback that can hit these moon shots. Okay. I just don't the lag if you're already coming to the season injured like this, it's almost like, man, he should probably sit out the LIU game. Now that we know who that is, right? It maybe maybe let him heal up a little bit more. Florida might have the best rushing attack in the SEC. Yeah, I'm with that. They're gonna be good. Ball is a load, dude. That's gonna be tough. All right, let me keep getting to these comments because y'all we rapping in here today. LSU is not a true. Oh, I already read that one. My bad. My bad. My bad. How can Bama have confidence? What do you mean by that? You can't trust any team on that list below LSU. You can't trust anybody. Tennessee, that's just a tough situation with the quarterback thing. I mean, if you're a big Joey Aguilar guy and you think that they can replace the rushing production with Dylan Sampson, some of the receiving production that has left. They still return some guys. I still expect Tennessee's defense to be good, even despite losing some of that talent that they lost in the NFL, right? Especially the top edge rusher. They have a good football team. It's just that I don't see Tennessee winning the conference. Don't see it. I actually would have A&M as a better shot than Tennessee. A&M and Florida to me have a better shot than Tennessee does. Florida's plus 2,200 just because that schedule's just that's a true gauntlet. But Tennessee and A&M, nah, I don't see it. Tucker said, "I'm late, but we here." Alabama did suck on the road last year. That's another thing that people are going to look at with the coaching staff and their preparation, because there were several games last year where Alabama didn't even look prepared to play ball on the road. Let's be honest. So that's something that's really going to get looked at with that. I'm sorry I missed the donations, Vandalisa. I apologize. Donations. I shouldn't have missed this. I gotta keep up with y'all. I'm sorry. Yep. No, Texas. This I agree with this comment. Texas does have a Georgia issue until proven otherwise. I do think Texas, is going to go in there, especially getting to play Georgia later in the season will tell us a lot. We'll know exactly who we're facing by that point, and they'll know exactly, what it is. No, I appreciate it, Vandalise 18. It means a lot. Thank you so much. So great news, according to Inside Texas, about CJ Baxter. Full go in summer workouts and on 7-on-7s in terms of his workload and practicing. So obviously that's very promising news for the season opener. Very promising news for the running back room as a whole, the depth, his ability. When CJ Baxter's on the field, the one thing you notice about him even at his freshman year is your full menu when he's on the field because of everything that he can do. So, very, very good news. Very, very good news. And look when we talked about the video about Baxter not being 100% until the playoffs, that doesn't mean that. I think some people misconstrued that as he's not going to be effective or anything like that. We just said 100%, right? I do think he's going to play the beginning of the season and be, 75, 80% of. I don't think he's 100% right now, right? I could be wrong. Could be like what do I know, right? But I think some people took that the wrong way. Like, we're not hating on the kid. It was just like actually trying to pump the brakes on expectations and what's best for him long term. So, hopefully that clears some of that up. But we were never, when Trent and I were talking about that, it was just more so, can he be ready to, at the end of a season, to carry an increased workload as a true, if you get into that situation and his knee is doing well, things of that sort, right? Because you also have to consider his future, especially as an NFL player, why he came to Texas, why he chose our program. So, I just want to make sure that's under consideration. J. Ron. J. A. Ron. Look, we've gone back and forth in the comments, my brother. You still haven't answered my questions. Okay. Who had the easiest schedule in the league last year? In my opinion, it was Texas A&M. In my opinion, based upon what I saw play out last year, I thought Texas A&M had the easiest schedule. They were the ones that were freaking undefeated through or had the best record in the conference up until what was that? November started and then folded like a cheap tent against teams like Auburn. So, and I know people will counter and say, well, they had to play hard teams on the road and all this type of stuff, but by the end of the season, their best win was like Missouri. Like, I mean, here's my thing. I don't believe in this is my answer to your question. Hopefully I'm being straightforward with you. I don't believe there's any easy schedule in the SEC. Yeah, some people may have a more difficult schedule, but I don't think you can. I don't like the term easy schedule in this conference when we have been told over and over that this conference is supposed to be a gauntlet or a juggernaut. And if it is not, then say that. If it is not, if it's not that conference and it's just a handful of teams at the top, i.e., Texas, Georgia, Bama, LSU, because the argument continues to fall apart when we're criticized for beating teams like Kentucky, yet Kentucky smacked Ole Miss in the face. We're criticized for beating teams like Arkansas, yet Arkansas beat Tennessee. A&M beat LSU. You saw what Auburn was capable of. I was always told that these teams, you still got to come correct on Saturday or else they will get you up out of there regardless of record. That's what I was told. And because we came to the party each and every Saturday, we came correct regardless of opponent. Now that's used against us. That's used against us. And that's where I don't get down, brother. I'm not saying we played as hard a schedule as Florida did. No, I'm not saying that. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying that. Okay? But we can only control what we control. I mean, obviously we schedule, aggressively in our non-conference. You can't dispute that. You really can't dispute that. Even before we came to this conference, we have always scheduled aggressively, sometimes to our detriment, in our non-con. But great example. Yeah, OU, right? OU beat Bama. So what are we talking about? Like if all these teams are beating everybody else, but y'all like, oh, y'all didn't play the Bamas of the world, but the team that we beat Bama by multiple touchdowns. What are we talking about? That's where the argument doesn't hold up for me, and I'm not seeing the vision, brother. I want to have this. We can keep going in circles on this conversation, and this is we're also talking about, and to be fair to you, we're talking about 1 year of data. We're talking about 1 year of data since we're in the 16-team era with Texas and OU being a part of this. We're talking about 1 year. But in that 1 year, I've given you now multiple examples of the same teams y'all said we beat, that we defeated, that were cupcakes or easy, that were not easy for the teams that y'all said were good. That's my point. That's the other thing, right? Schedules are made way, way, way ahead. So I'm gonna try to catch up in the chat here, but I appreciate the. I have no problem with his comment. If you want to disagree, that's healthy to debate. Healthy to debate. Yeah, Lagway. You know who Lagway reminds me of a little bit? Because he's what, 6'2", 240, just this is he is way better than the person I'm going to compare him to. He is way better than this person. But there's one trait that he shares, and his body is kind of similar to old boy. And I'm gonna age myself. But does anybody remember Rohan Davey from LSU, who was like 6? I don't even know how tall Rohan Davey was, but he could throw the piss out of a deep ball. I don't know if anybody remembers Rohan Davey, but like that lone ability to just throw these moon shots and full stride hit people. It reminds me of Rohan Davey many years ago. Lagway's a way more talented player than Rohan ever was. Okay, I want to make that very clear, very clear. But just the because he's not really like, now we'll see this year if he can get healthy, but he's not. It's not like a runner like that, right? Like, it's a big guy that's going to shake guys off of him. He'll move laterally, but to get guys off of him, and then he's going to hum that thing 60 yards downfield, and it's scary. It's scary. It's like, oh shit, Lagway's opening up another grenade again. It's the moonball ability is nuts. Lagway reminds me of Russell Wilson at NC State. I see the vision there. At NC State, I see the vision. That's a good distinction. Because Russell evolved at Wisconsin. And obviously he evolved again when he got to the NFL, for sure. John, you said Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M. John, can you tell me why Texas is not a legitimate contender when we were in the SEC championship game last year? Why is A&M a contender and not Texas, John? Objectively, because this is like Chris all over again with OU last year, and y'all do it to yourselves, please. Ole Miss and Tennessee honorable mentions. John, what record will Texas have in 2025? Please entertain the class. What's our record? John got us going 6-6. Watch. John got us going 6-6. Arch gonna get benched for Matthew Caldwell. That's John's prediction. Yeah, no, great news on Baxter, y'all. Great news on Baxter. Yeah, John. See, John is one of those people from Jumanji. That's what, AKA Facebook. They just pop out one real quick with a shotgun, chasing a damn moose or something. And it's like, hey man, go back over there. 8-4. I'm surprised that you have us winning 8 games, John. Wow. You actually surprised me. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Ryan Niblett's role, um, and what he's being looked like. I did see that on IT, but that's something I've been thinking about for him since spring ball. I really have. Also because if you followed him in high school, Ryan Niblett, that is, he played all the positions, even quarterback, right? Like he was all over the place. So when you think about positional versatility, hey, could we have some of that orbit motion stuff we used to do with Keelan Robinson back in the fold with Ryan Niblett? And you know what was great with the Baxter news is the more people that are healthy, the more cool things you can do with people, not out of necessity, but out of just sheer options. Excuse me, that you have out of sheer options. D Money, Kid Good Money said we still on the easy schedules. Yep. You know, if Auburn turns it around this year, I can't hold that over their heads anymore. If because I there is a Auburn's not bad on paper. Now I don't trust Hugh Freeze, but that roster's good. It's a good roster to me. If you really want to have a mind blowing exercise, go look at Auburn's Pro Football Focus grades for 2024. Their PFF grades, you would have thought it was Bama. I'm serious. Go look at how them dudes are grading now. People were grading high and losing. They had the worst. I mean, the way they lost to OU was a Daffy Duck loss. If you really want to get real on it, they missed a 27-yard field goal, and then that goofy ass interception they threw at the end of the game. Like Auburn, if Auburn had any competency, they would have closed that Oklahoma game. You know, now this is where the universe balances things out. OU then goes and loses a really goofy game like that to Missouri and their backup quarterback. They lost to Drew Pine. They didn't even lose to Brady Cook. They lost to Drew Pine, who completed like 8 passes that night. Dude could not get the ball to Luther Burden to save his life, and they still won. So that's just the Daffy Duck type stuff. You know, that just makes it interesting. AJ said AJ said y'all's favorite team going 7-5 with our schedule. Y'all's favorite team is going 7-5 with our schedule. That's crazy. John has OU having a big year. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. I'm gonna go for another 5 minutes here because I'm gonna get ready for the NBA Finals. Huge, huge game 4 tonight between the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 3 was cinema, folks. Game 3 was real hoops. If you're not watching the finals because of ratings, shame on you. If you want to watch real hoops, real basketball, check out Game 4 tonight. It's gonna be good stuff. Oklahoma City looking to bounce back and make it 2-2 before they head back to Oklahoma City. Real good hoops. Let me see. Auburn's theme song for 2024 was this. Yeah, no, CJ being healthy and just available, right? Uh Huge for everything that we want to showcase that the defense really has to pay attention to. There are certain times where you want to run certain concepts, but based upon the personnel of the game, it's like, the defense can cheat, whether it's to the edge or to the middle. They can cheat. The one thing I've been consistent with CJ is when he's on the field, you can't cheat the field. Like even when we went empty, we'll throw it to him. He can catch, he can run. Like there's nothing that he can't do. So or is flat out. Oh, they're not like. There's times where we've had backs where they'll motion out, and it's like nobody needs to go with that guy. There's no way in hell we're throwing the ball to him. He can't catch or whatever. It's not the case. And that's what I've always liked about the guys that Sark has recruited, the guys that Tashard Choice has recruited when he was here. The positional versatility that we've always really had with our backs over the last 5 years. Whether that's Brooks, whether that's Bijan, whether that's Roshan, Jaden Blue catching 40-something passes last year. That's a big element that Jaden Blue is going to add right off the bat to the Dallas Cowboys, that versatility. So, Baxter does that well, right? I think that only helps Wisner more. Keeps his workload where it needs to be, keeping him fresh, also keeping him in the role of on third downs, just being, if I can get Wisner to be my little Brian Westbrook type on third downs, run pass option out of the backfield, like that's tremendous for us, folks. 2 back sets, having 2 guys on the field between 4 and 5 now that can catch the football, motion out, take a backer with them, motion back across the formation, have to reset the numbers, makes it easier for the quarterback to identify what the coverage is or the front. These are good things. These are good things. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Texas, Brian Westbrook, bro, leave me alone. You know what I meant. I didn't say Brian Mitchell. Brian Westbrook said Brian Westbrook makes me old. Damn. Back when guys were wearing full numbers. Back when running backs were still wearing numbers in the 30s back then. You got these new Gen Zers rocking single digit numbers. That's not real ball to me. That's not real ball to me. Running back out here wearing number 2. No joke. I'm glad we adjusted to the. I'm not one of those old heads that my receivers need to rock numbers in the 80s. I am all for brothers rocking better numbers. I've always been aesthetically forward, if you will, when it comes to that. I'm on Gen Z's side with that. I am not out here trying to rock. They like the Bears have right now. They had in camp, was it Luther Burton that was wearing like 87, looking like Muhsin Muhammad from the Panthers back in the day? 87 looks so nasty in a Bears uniform in 2025. Disgusting, brother. 87? Am I getting cut? Like, why am I wearing 87, bro? It's a disgusting number for a receiver, bro. Nasty work. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. One of them special is gonna have to come up off a jersey, bro. Them kickers can wear stuff outside of the teens. Somebody gonna have to come up off a number. I'm leaving with something. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something. I respect Luther Burton though. He's showing up trying to show you about ball. I get it. I'm a rookie. I'm gonna know my place. I'm not going nasty. Yeah, Jay, the 34. What number is he now? Is he still 34? That's a nasty number nowadays. 34 didn't used to be that bad growing up. Here's the thing. 34 is not a bad number if you're like a big back like Ricky Williams, like a big power guy. You got, but not my speed guys. That's nasty. That's nasty. The only person that I see right now, present day, that maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But Sterling Shepard's 87 on the Giants was nasty. Stop it. 87 on the Giants was nasty. The only person who looks cold with their jersey, and it makes no sense, but he's made it look good for years, is Alvin Kamara wearing 41. For whatever reason, he makes it work. It doesn't look nasty on him. Alvin Kamara is the only one. Nasty ass. Nobody else can rock 41 but him. Like he actually looks like he's gonna step off on somebody wearing number 41. And you're like, oh yeah, he looked like he nice. He looked like he cold. But yeah, I don't want that Luther Burden Bears 87. Disgusting. Allstott, yeah, Allstott was a fullback though. That's fine. He had a freaking he had the neck pad. That linebackers, he had the Andy Katzenmoyer Warrior joint. Like Allstott, that was fine. Sproles wore 43. Yeah, he wore 43. The only reason why we let Sproles 43 slide though is because I believe he wore 43 at Kansas State in college too. And he was so small. Like I don't know why that one weirdly worked, but I believe he won 43 at Kansas State. How do you feel about Golden and the Deuce Deuce? Man, this is a big controversy, by the way. Matthew Golden picking that 22. I have mixed feelings about it because in one picture, he looked like an absolute. Like, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even want my corner to look like that. I don't know why. I don't want my corner. Like, he looked like a fourth string corner in the one picture in his Packers gear. But then there was another picture where he had like his full helmet on, like full gear. I got to see he's going to need some accessories. Like he can't go raw dog with just the gloves, bro. In 22, that's nasty work. He can't go like that, bro. He gonna have to have some real like a one sleeve joke or you're gonna have to have some accessories to go with that. Uh, we can't be out here that I don't know. 22 on a receiver just ain't right. You know what would work on a receiver though? Like 21. I feel like I don't know. I feel like 21 even you could do like the whole prime thing, going both ways, blah blah blah. I don't know. 21 I feel like you could make it work. But 22 looks weird for a receiver. Looks really weird. Ahmed is funny. The last 22 receiver was Dexter McCluster. Damn. Ole Miss and the Chiefs. Yep. And even McCluster was playing running back half the time. He went between he was like an all-purpose back, like Shoelace. Robinson. Denard Robinson was. All-purpose guys. Yeah, you need to get some of them bands from Demo. We gonna need to accessorize that up. I might have to change his number in Madden out of respect. I don't know. Nah, the Ohio State Devin Brown was wearing 33. That was even worse. He was out there in the Sonny Jurgensen's. He was out there rocking the Sammy Balls. If you're gonna wear 33 as a quarterback, just go all the way with it and do the one bar. Don't even rock an illegal face mask. How about that? If you're gonna do all of that nastiness, go ahead and rock the one bar joint. Just go all the way with it. And Troy Brown, he was number 80, I believe. I don't think he was 81. He was 80, but it was still nasty work being a slot corner. What even made it nastier with him was his sleeves. Bro had the John Elway joints that went down to his elbows. He didn't even have the he didn't even like what we used to do back in the day when we didn't have the elastic, you rubber bang your sleeves. He didn't even do that. He just let them hang. He had the nasty long sleeves. Troy Brown did. It was disgusting. Like you could tell he was old. You like he had the Daryl Green joints. Daryl Green was the last fast person I saw rocking the sleeves all the way out there. If you have those, that bothers me as a receiver. Cut those damn sleeves off. Get you some elastic bands. Stop it. You're not a quarterback. You look dumb. I think I heard Rogers once say if he saw a corner with the number in the 40s, he was going after him. That's the equivalent to Josh Allen when he said if he saw a white guy guarding Steph Diggs, it'd be a milk check. Yeah, he had the Romo sleeves. Yeah, no. Like the Sam Bradford drinks remember when Sam Bradford was on the Eagles and his sleeves were yeah, Garrett Wilson's why? It's more functional. Get out of here. Knock it off. Knock it off. Nah, Josh Allen was the one that talked about the milk check, not me. He said if he saw a fellow Caucasian guarding Steph Diggs, that's an automatic milk check. I was like, damn, Josh. Manning can pass with that though, because he was from the he came in the league in the '90s, so that was fine. Looking like a WWE wrestler playing football. Y'all, we could talk all night about aesthetics, right? Like that's part of the reason why Michael Vick is goated, right? Because he had the 3 bar monster face mask with the visor and his cornrows used to hang out the back. Like, come on, bro. He looked cold. And the sleeves. I remember when Marcus Vick, people think about RG3 all the time. Marcus Vick at Virginia Tech was one of the first people I ever saw with the one sleeve and the other one was like a half sleeve. That was a cold look that Marcus Vick had at Virginia Tech too. Y'all go look up Josh Allen milk check. It's hilarious. He said, "Yeah, we call that a milk check." If I see a fellow Caucasian brethren out there or a backer, like a Matt Milano trying to shade over a running back, that's milk. Screw whatever play we were running. That's what he said. That was hilarious. Snacks did have a really cool face mask. I forgot about that. That was a really cool face mask. Oh yeah, Reggie. Reggie did have the one sleeve too. I forgot about that too. I don't even know if you could edit them at that time in the video game to only have one sleeve. I think it came like in like '07 or something. I could be way wrong, but I remember that was like the year before Vince's Vince Young. That was another one. Um, he I don't know why he went to the sleeves in the league. I always liked him better at Texas when he had the elastic sleeves. Just a better look for him too. He looked like a true black quarterback that was going to step off on you. When he went to the longer sleeves, things went downhill for VY. I truly believe that. Vince Young, when he looked like I think he took off the half sleeve joint. He remember Vince Young used to rock the forearm sleeves his sophomore year. Go look like when we beat Michigan. He was wearing the he used to rock the forearm sleeves. I believe he took them joints off because it made him look too much like a wide receiver. And he was like, I'm not with that. The guy looked like a quarterback. But that was the coldest that Vince Young ever looked in pads. He actually flirted with the visor for a little bit. I think the A&M game he wore a visor, and then he kept taking it off, or they would unscrew it during the game. But he had the half sleeve joints for a little bit. I remember that. And then senior year, it was all business. You're just going straight wristbands. The forearm sleeves was Vincent Young. Ooh, y'all remember the visor? I thought I was the only one that remembered the visor in the A&M game. He played shitty in the A&M game. We still whooped their ass, but he played shitty in that game. It did cost him the Heisman, and he kept messing with the visor. I remember that. I remember that. Wow, I see some of y'all here. Some of y'all here are men of culture as well. I remember that. Now there's guys. There's also guys um, that just look like they were that dude in their pads when you first saw him. Like I remember the first time. I'll be honest with you. Terrell Pryor, when he was rocking that number 2 at Ohio State, even though he didn't even have a whole bunch of accessories, he just had like one QB drape, basic face mask. But he looked cold as shit in his pads. I don't know what it was. He used to wear the black socks with the black shoes at Ohio State. Terrell Pryor looked cold when he first came out. Even when he was on the Raiders, when he was stepping off for some touchdowns and he had the half sleeve drape, he looked cold. Reggie McNeil looked cold. I know it's an A&M QB. I know it's an A&M QB, but Reggie McNeil's aesthetic was dope. I remember the magazine. How many people remember the Reggie McNeil, Vince Young? Was it a Dave Campbell's football magazine? Or was it an Athlon magazine? It was a preseason magazine. It was a preseason magazine. But it was Reggie McNeil and Vince. And Reggie McNeil literally McNeil looked like he looked as fast as he ran. Because remember, he ran like a 4.35. He looked like he ran a 4.35. He had the visor, rocking number 1 with the sleeve drape. Yo, Reggie McNeil looked cold. He looked like he was a problem. If he had played as good as he looked, Troy Smith, he was the one of the first people I ever saw rock that face mask. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Troy Smith, his face mask was like a little lower, or like I don't know how to describe it, but like, and I want to say his visor was had a little tint in there. I could be tripping, but I remember Troy Smith visor. It was Dave Campbell. Thank you, Raymond. Raymond said the McNeil Vince Young cover. I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew I didn't just make this up. But yeah, they were on a cover together. They were on a cover together. LaDainian Tomlinson always looked good in pads, even when he was on the damn Jets. Go Google LaDainian Tomlinson Jets. Still looks cold. He had the all black joint, the one strap on the elbow, but the skinny strap with the nice gloves. LaDainian Tomlinson always looked good in pads. Sometimes his shoulder pads would be a little too big for my taste, but like when around the Chargers time, when he had the right size, because some of these brothers were wearing the wrong size shoulder pads. It's like, bro, your shoulder pads are too big for your body, and it looks weird with your jersey. But his shoulder pads, um, LT once he was on the Chargers, holy shit! With that visor, couldn't see anything. Yeah, his shoulder pads at TCU were way too big. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Ramonce Taylor looked good in his pads. Ramonce Taylor was another one rocking the 11 visor with and he used to wear the forearm sleeve, half forearm cutoff. Ramonce Taylor, go look that up. He looked cold as shit in his pads. I he looked He looked, no disrespect to Selvin Young, but like Selvin Young like looked like like in his pads just looked like a basic running back. Ramon Taylor looked like he was an athlete in his pads. I was like, holy shit, who's that guy? He looks like an athlete. He looks like Reggie Bush in his pads. Sean Alexander's man. Dez, oh man, Dez another one. Always Dez never looked bad in football pads. LT or farm before oral farming was a thing. Oh boy. LT LT is LT first team all get off the bus in terms of his like I don't even know what we would call this category. Well, chat, what should we call this category? What is he? Is he goated in terms of running back aesthetic? Like, what do we call this? I don't even know what you call it. Des Bryant though, Des Bryant from the Oklahoma State days look cold. Always, I liked his whole setup. The socks, where his where he was one of the first brothers not to take away the knee pad. He didn't go like full Deshaun Jackson where he just eliminated the knee pad, right? Like, but it cut off like it was almost like his shit was fitted for him. It looked really good, looked tailored, and then his jersey was just tight but not too tight. Shoulder pads were perfect, and then he just just looked like a freaking like give me like I'm gonna call bubble screen this guy right away. We just need to give him the fucking ball. Like that's how Dez looked to me from the Ohio State days on. LT was definitely looked like a creative player. LT's first team all dripped up. LT till this day, there's not a whole lot of running backs till this day, modern day. Nick Chubb don't look like that, bruh. Not like LT. LT looked different, especially in the league. First team all dripped up. It's hilarious. Peter Warwick looked good at Florida State. I knew he wasn't going to work, or not work, because he wasn't like a full blown bust. But when he had to rock the 80 in Cincinnati, that was rough. I feel like he lost his swag. Peter Warwick, when he was wearing, what was he, number 9 at Florida State? Single digit. And hey, the real Peter Warwick ones know he used to have the one strap just hanging off that he didn't even buckle his chin strap all the way. He used to have the one chin strap joint hanging, just to let you know he was him. But then when I saw him on the Bengals and he was like all like, had like the freaking safety bike pad elbow pads on, I was like, oh no, that's not the Peter Warwick I know. Why do you need elbow pads now? What's wrong? So I knew something was off. He immediately went from 93 speed to 87 speed just with the elbow pads. I don't know why it was. As soon as I saw that, we had to deduct speed ratings going down, brother. Speed rating is going down immediately when I see those elbow pads. You look slow. I don't make these rules. Ohio State Zeke with the crop. That's all drip. Another all drip candidate. And he had the right. I liked his face mask at Ohio State. I hated late Zeke's face masks were horrible on the Cowboys. But him just wearing the monster with the Dickerson monster, basically, that was the Zeke face mask that I grew up with, bro. OBJ, no, OBJ. I'll give you that, JB. Was OBJ is the rare one though, where he was way. Let me know if you agree with this. he was way more dripped out in the NFL than he was in college because he was nice at LSU, but that 33 was nasty work. Rocking. I know the last year did he move to number 3 at LSU? But when he was wearing like 33 as a freshman, that was nasty work. I'm like, is this guy a running back? Like, what the hell's going on here? I think he ended up moving to number 3 at LSU, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember. But he looked way better in the NFL rocking 13. I don't know. Just the aesthetic came together later on for him. Julio Jones always looked good in pads, even at Bama, wearing number 8. And it wasn't even, he didn't even have like crazy accessories or anything like that. He didn't have no crazy accessories. But he just looked cold. He looked like he was about to step off on you. Ooh, JS, man, y'all speaking to my heart. Marcus Mariota, Oregon. It is so sad to me when I watch Marcus Mariota on Washington last year. He's got sleeves. What happened to the game I love? What happened to the game I love, chat? Marcus Mariota at Oregon. What's that Antonio Banderas gif? Marcus Mariota at Oregon, bro. He might be first team all drip QB. His uniform, the way he used to dress at Oregon was crazy. He looked like he was he going to run a 4.2. Didn't he look faster when he wore with his visor was crispy? Dennis Dixon looked cold. He was just always so skinny though. What's up, Nate? Masoli's was tough. Jeremiah Masoli. And Masoli's fell off when he went. Didn't he transfer to Ole Miss at the end? I think he didn't finish at Oregon. Jeremiah Masoli. The league, yeah. Mariota becoming swaggerless in the league, sad. Like even though that last year he played in Atlanta, he still looked like he could step off a little bit. Like he still looked. You know who's a fraud in their uniform? If we want to go fraudulent players, Desmond Ritter sold me lies. Desmond Ritter in his Atlanta Falcons uniform looked like he could play. And then you watch him play and you're like, this guy is ass. Like, that guy was a fraud. But Desmond Ritter, before you see him throw a pass or run a play, looked like he was a cold ass quarterback. That's what messed me up, bro. he said uh, he said he was hooking a naysayer up. Oh my gosh. We might have to do that on Sunday service, Michael. I gotta go watch this game. And y'all, we have started a whole new stream. Just all drip team. Summer content, baby. You know what? We might have to do this, especially since oral farming is a theme now. We might as well go all the way with it. Ole Miss in the streets, Rono. You talking about Masoli? Kellen Mond? No, sir. So if we're looking at the A&M quarterbacks, I would say Reggie McNeil, first team all drip for the A&M quarterbacks in terms of how he looked in his pads. Second, Johnny Manziel looked good in his pads, but you know who else looked good in his pads? Kenny Hill. Or shall I say Kenny Trill. Kenny Trill looked good in his pads too. He looked really good. Johnny with the visor, and he used to have the not knuckle tape, but the way he used to hold his mouthpiece and the little arm drink that he used to have. He nah, Johnny had drip. I'm not even going front. I'm not a hater. Johnny Football had drip with that little arm joint and the visor. He looked cold. He looked like he was going to step off on you, especially when A&M wore their all white joints against Bama. He looked like he was going to step off. Jamarcus Russell was definitely a. JB said, "Take that drip off." Get that. Give me that shit. Take that drip off. Johnny was best. Johnny, I don't know. It was like he looked like he could step off on you. That's an example of when you go to the league and get exposed, man. Even your swag gets changed up. That's what happened with Zach Wilson. Now he's wearing number 0 on the Dolphins. Nasty work. Zach Wilson at BYU was trying to be dripped out. Had the headband, had the one sleeve. Career started falling apart. All of a sudden, he looked like generic player number 2. Sad. I was like, once you start losing your aura and your stuff, and I start seeing you come out there and you look like a normal quarterback, you're cooked. You got to be yourself. I saw it with Vince. I saw it with Zach. Hudson Card. Oof. Hudson Card looked good in pads back in high school at Lake Travis. The Lake Travis uniforms? Hudson Card looked good. Hudson Card looked good in a Longhorn uniform. But just, yeah, sadly. It also makes you think about like who are some of the guys that are just the opposite, right? Like no aura, but just ball. They just ball out. Like OU, Jason White. I couldn't stand his pads. Couldn't stand the way his jersey looked. But he won a freaking Heisman Trophy. I also didn't like Chris Winky's pads at Florida State. His shoulder pads look weird to me. I didn't like it. But he won a Heisman. So you don't always have to look good. But first team all drippy. Here at FP, we're gonna identify him. Oh yeah, I didn't acknowledge Trayvon Boykin. My bad. He was 33. Yeah, he's like Steve. Of course, he didn't look good in his pads. He was 33. Of course he looked crazy in his pads. Oh gosh. Yeah, Tony Romo's yeah. Romo was a baller. Absolute baller. But the oversized, the triple XL long sleeve jersey was crazy. That's why I always like Romo wearing. At least he wore the long sleeves. It made it a little bit better for me. But whenever his normal look, he always looked like he was about to punt. Negative or Joe Flacco's, but that's kind of Joe Flacco's thing. Quinn's in a weird space because Quinn didn't have like Quinn was fine. I didn't have a problem with how like I like the half sleeves that he used to wear. I just for whatever reason I don't know how to articulate this, but I always felt that Quinn in his Texas pads never looked as tight as Quinn in his Southlake Dragons pads, where it looked like he was faster to me. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But Quinn and his South Lake pads, and sometimes he'd wear the all long sleeve joints, and he'd have the long things on the on. He'd have like the tights. I don't know. He just looked faster to me than he ever did at Texas. I know he wore tights occasionally at Texas, but like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. He didn't look bad. I never thought. I never thought. I never looked at Quinn Ewers take a snap at Texas wearing number 3 and be like, um, my quarterback is swaggerless. I have felt that way before. I never felt that way with Quinn. I never looked at him in his pads and was like, damn, no drip, zero drip. I never felt that way. Never felt that way. Cedric Benson had the strap. May he rest in peace. Love that brother. He had the lower forearm joint. I don't know how he got it to stay there the whole game. That was crazy to me. It never like moved. All them damn carries he took never moved. I don't know if it was like a video game. Never moved. I agree with the Trevor Lawrence comment. It's part of his problem at Jacksonville. Who doesn't look as good as in his pads as he did at Clemson, especially his freshman year. Trevor Lawrence freshman year looked like a NFL quarterback, like Justin Herbert. Something. The milk went bad somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. Quinn, yes, that's the look. The black tights, black ankle, and maybe it's just because Southlake has cold uniforms, but he looked like he was going to step off on you at Southlake. And you know what? The Dwayne Harris drink, it always made me thought he was running slower. I agree with this comment. I agree with this comment. It always made me feel like I'm like, yo, bro, why is he? I'm gonna edit this out and just make this a whole all drip video. We'll see what the people feel about it, because this is a conversation that needed to be had. Thank you for saying what needed to be said. Sam Bradford's drip got worse too. He wasn't even that bad at OU. His sophomore year when he won the Heisman, his look wasn't even that bad. It's when he got to the NFL where he started wearing these long ass sleeves in the oversized jersey. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You look horrible. Demo sometimes would overdo it with the bands, quite frankly, to me. But I liked how he looks in his Cowboys uniform. He looks fast. He looks, and now that they've given him 0 is even dope. But even him rocking 13 his rookie year on the Cowboys, Demo looked fast in his bro said Sam Bradford was out there looking like Terry Bradshaw. All right. 80 Mitchell definitely had aura. He I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you know. This doesn't even need to be explained. Trent Williams does. Trent Williams has the best big man face mask in the league by far, with the visor by far, and the long sleeves. I love it. I love it. It's a great look for a big. He looks athletic as a big man. He looks like he's going to beat the shit out of you, but he looks athletic. I love that look. He looks like he could take a couple snaps at tight end. That's how he looks. Hey, hey. If you want to talk white man drip, Jason Witten. If we're talking white man drip, Jason Witten always looked good in his pads. And you notice he always put time into making sure his forearm sleeves even when he could get tackled and somebody messed up his sleeve, he would fix his sleeve. He always had cold face mask, cold visor. Jason Witten, when he was at Tennessee, looked good. Probably first and only time I've ever seen a tight end wearing number 1. Jason Witten with the all black cleats and socks. Go look it up. Jason Witten at Tennessee. He looked cold back then. We're talking white man drip. Like the whole forearms, everything. He used to rotate between the blue joints at home and the white joints on the road. I see you, Jay Witt. He even looked good in his Raiders uniform when he was bald. wearing the loose shirt. That's another thing. I don't like when my receivers wear the big T-shirt underneath the jersey. It looks sloppy sometimes. It looks a little sloppy sometimes. Got to clean that up. DJ Campbell does look good in his pads. I also like when he wears the sleeves. I don't know, he stands out. Looks good. Not Aaron Hernandez. Oh my goodness. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Gave you guys a bonus 20 minutes of content here. Probably just going to edit this one out and make it its own video of all first team all drip. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that like button. Let me know in the comments who your legitimate SEC contenders are. Hopefully, you guys felt heard here in the chat today. I'll answer some questions, whether you agree or disagree with me. It's always fun to talk ball with y'all. It's free to show love. Hit that like button. Help us get to 15,000 subscribers by August 30th. We have work to do. We have work to do to get there. But I believe, especially as the season gets closer, we're right around 80 days until kickoff. We can do it collectively, especially as things start to heat up. People looking for a reliable place to talk ball, not take themselves too serious, point them my way. Love to have you guys here on the channel. But remember, horns always up. I will see you guys on Sunday service. Horns always up. Hook 'em.